Now let's take a look at problem number 2. So again, we want to describe the transformations and then graph. So here I'm going to identify my a value is the number in front of the absolute value, which is positive 2/3. My h value is in here with the x, but there's nothing there, so that means h is 0, so no horizontal shift. And then my k is equal to the number after the absolute value, which in this case is -4. All right, so since a is a positive, it's going to open up. Since a is between 0 and 1, it's going to be a wider or a more gradual graph. Okay, so the rise is a little bit less. Okay, there's no horizontal shift. I don't even need to write that since it's not a change from the parent function, but there is a vertical shift. In this case, since k is negative, it's going to go down 4. Okay, so my vertex, horizontal shift is 0, vertical shift is down 4. So I want my vertex to be at the point 0, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my vertex. Okay. Now, again, a is like a slope, so you need to go up 2 over 3 in both directions. So I'm going to go up 2 over 3. I'm going to do it again, up 2 over 3. I'm going to do the same thing in the opposite direction, up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. And I'm going to draw my absolute value lines. All right, so there's the function. Again, how would this change if we were dealing with the inequality instead? All right, promise I'm going to do this a little bit better this time. There we go. Okay, so how would it change if it was? All right, the symbol solid line means, equal to means solid line. Sorry, I said that in the wrong order. There's an equal to, so it stays a solid line. So I don't have to erase and make it a dashed line here, okay? And then separately, I have y is less than. Y is less than means shade below. So all I have to do here is add on the shading. I need to shade below. So I'm going to start at my vertex and go straight down under the vertex. And then I'm going to shade everything else that corresponds to below the absolute value v, okay? So once you get comfortable graphing the actual functions, graphing the inequalities isn't that much of a stretch because it's just making those 2 adjustments. Solid line, dashed line, shade above, shade below. All right, so that's problem number 2. Let's take a look at problem number 3. Again, describe the transformations, then graph. Let's do this one purple. All right, so the difference here is the y is not yet isolated, okay? So we need to have the y by itself in order to graph this. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to really have y equals -3, the absolute value of x plus 1 plus 2, okay? The 2 and the -3 cannot be combined because it's -3 times something, and I'm adding on a 2 after the fact, so I can't combine those together because order of operations says I would have to do the multiplication before I could add or subtract, okay? So now I've got a equals -3. H equals, so I have x plus 1, so h is -1, all right? And then k is the +2. So it's going to open down because I have a negative. And it's going to be a steeper graph because 3 is bigger than 1, so it's also going to be narrower. You could use either word here. All right, we're going to go from here, we're going to go left 1 unit. And from here, we're going to go, up 2 units. So the vertex is going to be at the h, -1, k, +2. So -1, +2 would be right here. And then a is -3, so that means you need to go down 3 over 1 in both directions. So down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. So you can see the symmetry that's formed in all of these graphs, okay? So this one's super narrow. There we go. Okay, So there's our function. So again, how do we change the graph to do the inequality? So let's see. Oops. That's good. All right. So we know that we can rearrange this and make it just y is less than -3, absolute value of x plus 1, and then the plus 2. Y is less than means shade below. And there's no equal to, so it's a dashed line. So I've got to go back and dash the line best I can. For me, that's pretty easy because I can just erase little bits and pieces. You can draw a solid line and then just write the word dashed right next to your graph. As long as it's identified somewhere that it's a dashed line, for me, it's okay to draw the solid line, okay? Because I know how difficult it can be, especially if you don't have a ruler in hand. And we said that we are going to shade below. Shading below the vertex, so from the vertex straight down, is actually inside the absolute value this time. Remember, the dashed line means that the points on the V are not included in our answer.